Hey, what is up, guys? This is Bo, or Carl Hungus712, and today I figured I'd give you a few tips and tricks in probably my favorite game mode in Call of Duty, Search and Destroy, and talk a little bit about the recent patch update that, of course, was exclusive to Xbox. I'm not sure if it's been available to download yet on the PS4 or PC, but they changed a few guns. They nerfed the ASM-1. They buffed a couple other weapons, but first off, to start off here, I end up going 9-1. This is league play here. Going on my road to Masters here. We'll see how long it takes me to get into Masters Division. But on Terrace here, I always kind of like this little head glitch spot right here, because a lot of people like sniping off that back spawn, which you'll see me pick him off right here. Oh, look at that hard scoper. Hard scoper. Yeah, well, when I snipe, I usually hard scope. I try not to quick scope too much, but my backup weapon's the KF5. If any of you watch Drifter's videos, you'll know that swap times, if you run overkill, are faster with the KF5 and the AMR9. So that's why I'm running the KF5 here, so I can just flip between my two weapons pretty quick. But one of the big tips I wanted to start off with first, guys, when it comes to Search and Destroy, and one tip that's really helped me out quite a bit in my Search and Destroy competitive career, is be completely unpredictable. That is the best thing you can do when it comes to playing Search and Destroy, is to be completely unpredictable. Because typically when you play public matches, I actually think public matches sometimes are good for Search and Destroy, because you do get a lot of randomness. Well, whereas when you play competitive, a lot of people have the same couple of spots that they go to, a couple of flank routes and stuff. Like for me here, usually I like to start off the match on this side here defending by basically going to the B-bomb site, because a lot of times you'll catch people running up that back hill trying to get to stream back here. And yeah, luckily I looked down at the right time on that guy there. He was doing a little sneaky plan on me there. I can't have that stuff. But yeah, again, be unpredictable. Because one thing you'll learn in Search and Destroy, especially if you ever get into the competitive scene, public matches not so much, but in the competitive scene, a lot of times people have certain spots that they like to go to, certain head glitches, sniper spots, nade spots, walls that you can shoot through that are pretty paper thin. But like I said, being unpredictable, I think, is one of the biggest things you can do. Another thing, when you're playing with a team of 4, especially when it comes to the competitive scene, always have one guy watching flank, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't do, and it's always really surprised me, especially when I've played in Call of Duty tournaments and stuff all over the place, is that a lot of times you'll get a rush plant where everybody pushes towards one bomb site and nobody watches flank, and then they end up all dying from behind. It's like, you know, even if that guy can't win his one-on-one battle, at least it gives you a little heads up that, hey, you know, there's somebody behind us. We've got to make a change here. Somebody's got to rotate back and help our guy out that's watching flank. Typically, when I play Search and Destroy in tournaments and stuff, usually I'm the one that watches flank. I'm pretty good at winning my one-on-one gun battles, and it's just something I've always done. Another thing too in Search and Destroy that I wanted to recommend too is Search and Destroy is very much like a chess match. You know, your goal is to try to outthink the opponent, and that's one of the reasons I think Search is one of my favorite games. I'm not saying that Hardpoint and Capture the Flag in those matches, they don't require thinking, because they do, but in Search you have one life, you have to make it count each round, and I always try to think of what the other guy's going to do. I always say to myself, okay, if I'm playing on that team, what am I going to do in this scenario? You know, am I going to flank? Am I going to rush plant? Am I going to snipe over the middle? Am I going to watch mid? Am I going to throw smoke down? I try to think of that before I make my push. And I think that will help you guys immensely in Search and Destroy. Like I said, be unpredictable. Always have somebody watching the flank. Like I said, one thing, and one other thing I'd like to add too, especially when it comes to the competitive scene, is that it's best to bunch up when you get down in like 2v2s or 2v1s, because especially on 2v2s, typically, you can basically play a bait and switch with the other team, and hopefully you'll get one guy, one of your teammates usually starts shooting. But of course, you see that red dot on the map, so you're thinking, oh, I'm going to go over there, I'm going to get this easy kill. There's going to be one guy left, and we're going to win. Well, typically what happens there is you're baited out, or you're baiting the other team out. So if they come out, especially in 2v1s, you know, if there's one guy left, you know, maybe I'll shoot, maybe my teammate will shoot to try to get him to come out. And then if he kills one of us, the other one's there to pick him off. So basically, you're playing your picks there, which are that's a really smart way of playing Call of Duty, especially search and destroy. You know, play for picks, exchanges. You know, just always try to outthink the opponent. Always try to be unpredictable, and always switch up your tactics. I mean, that's the biggest thing I can tell you to be successful in search and destroy. And one thing I want to talk about real quick here, because this is kind of a quicker video than I normally do, are the new patches. Now, I know I'm a little late getting to you guys. Sorry, there's been a lot of stuff going on lately with me. So, unfortunately, the last couple days I didn't get a chance to upload. But the KF5 and the AMR9, a couple of submachine guns that a lot of people don't ever check out or ever look at. And they've been patched quite a bit and buffed to the point where they're quite viable in competitive gameplay. The KF5 has always been viable. A lot of people don't realize this, but I believe it's the first 5 bullets in the clip and end up doing more damage. So it actually does more damage than the ASM1 the first 5 shots. Of course, if you shoot somebody and kill them, you need to reload to get the first 5 again. It's not the first 5 every time you pull the trigger. But it actually does more damage, and they buffed the mid-range damage, so now it's a much more viable weapon for longer-range combat. In the AMR9, they basically tried to make it the Chi-Com 2.0. It's not quite as good as the Chi-Com. That's, as you guys know, that's one of my favorite weapons. I'm going to do a video on that one of these days too. But the range was increased and the damage was also increased on that. So definitely, guys, give those couple of guns a try. ASM1's still dominant, but you know, at least they patched it, made a few weapons better. And actually the S12, which was probably the biggest piece of shit I think I've ever used in my life in a Call of Duty game, you might as well just give me a fucking combat knife or an axe and let me throw it across the map. That's going to do more damage than that fucking gun. But they've patched that, they buffed that quite a bit, they buffed the range. You get extra pellets in each of your buckshot rounds, and it does more damage, so yeah, definitely give that a try also in your hardpoint games. I tell you right now, that's a good weapon. I'm trying to think of any other tips I can give you guys too for search, but as you can see there, I'm watching the flank again just to make sure nobody's there, and we end up winning this round real easy. Unfortunately, the other team quit after a couple of rounds, so it was an easy win in the end, but this is my road to Masters, guys. Like I said, leave me any comments, thoughts, anything like that, anything you want to add to help people out for Search and Destroy. I'd appreciate that. Some of my viewers would appreciate that as well. But I hope you guys liked the video. We'll see you next video, and Bo out.